the stories are sequenced in a particular manner, and you might operate under the assumption that that sequencing occurred because the sequencer, who was an editor or a group of editors, they call that person the redactor, but they have no idea if it was one person or many people who organized these texts into something resembling a coherent story. So imagine the stories evolved somewhat independently, and then they were organized so that they produced what approximated a coherent narrative. It's not entirely coherent because there are paradoxical claims, say at the level of the sentence. So for example, the creation order in the first story in Genesis isn't exactly the same as the creation order in the second story. And you know, people who insist upon the literal truth of the Bible, whatever that means, are bothered by those contradictions and turn themselves into knots trying to iron them out. And fair enough, right? Because you want the story to be coherent. But you know, that's sort of, it's important, but it's also beside the point. You don't want to focus on one level of analysis at the exclusion of all the other levels of analysis. That's probably the right way to think about it. Now, the fact that these stories are sequenced in a particular manner and that kind of makes sense implies that there's some sort of narrative coherence underneath driving them forward. Otherwise, they would be nothing but a random assemblage of stories, and they're by no means random, that's for sure. They're selected and edited and put together in a particular manner and then stored that way and dealt with in a particular manner by thousands of people over many, many years. What happens after Cain and Abel is, well, there's an interlude, which is this interlude, and it's kind of a bridge, and there's a lot packed into it too, although I'm not going to take it apart very much. It says, so this is after the Cain and Abel story. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and then took them wives of all which they chose. And there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which are of old, men of renown. Okay, so I already pointed out that if you go back just a little bit, you see that the descendants of Cain are represented as founders of institutions, right? There are Enoch, who builds a city, and Ada, or Jabal, who is the father of those who dwell in tents and of those who own cattle, and then there's Jubal, who's the father of all that are musicians, and so on. So one of the things that you see in myths very frequently is that if there's a pattern of behavior that's characteristic of the culture, that pattern of behavior is attributed to a hero who was in the past, who was the first person who did that. And so you might say, well, what does that mean? Well, it means in part that there was a first person who did that, although more likely there was an assemblage of people who aggregated that particular ability, say the ability to play music, across a very large amount of time. But these are pre-literate people, right? And they're trying to remember the past. And so what happens, Mircea Eliade had documented this quite well, is that that aggregation of people gets collapsed